Alright, so you guys probably have found out by the title of the video, but it's kind of hard to see in the tight garage here, but we are working with my 2023 Frontier Pro-4x, and what we've got are these AVS in-channel vent visors. Haven't opened it up yet because I wanted to show you guys how it's all packaged. It does come just in this little flat cardboard piece, and it's just shrink wrapped on top. It wiggles a little bit, but nothing that'll damage anything. I like to show the packaging in my videos because if it's a cheap part, usually it's cheap packaging, where these are relatively cheap compared to some of the competitors, but it's packaged nicely. And it looks like on the inside, I'll see when I open it up, that it's actually got plastic on the part itself as well. And then of course we got our tape. And if you are wondering, the part number for this, these are the in-channel ones, keep in mind, is this number here, 194788. Look for the 194788, and that will be your right part number, because I know some people have been getting these off of Amazon and it's actually the wrong part. It'll show up and it is not for the 2022 and up Frontiers. So if you're ordering it off of there, check the part number because you might be getting the wrong part. Alright, so once we get it out of the package, you get your two straight ones here for the rear window, and you get your two for the front. And then as well, under there was this little package with your barcode. You can scan that and get instructions on how to install this. If you're buying this yourself, you're watching this video, so maybe you're looking, or maybe you want to see how it's installed. You get the little scratch pad, or whatever they call these, and that is basically to go inside the rubber and clean out any gunk and stuff that's in there, because these are held on by 3M tape. So this will scrub out anything that maybe you can't see in there. And then once you're done with that, you get 4 of these alcohol wipes as well. And that will just clean everything from oil to whatever happens to be left in there. Anything that this scratches off, this will help get it out, make it all clean. Then you have a nice clean surface for your 3M tape once you go to put it in there. Alright, so for actually getting these on the truck, I do actually have that side already done. You want to take your Scotch pad here and scrape it down as best you can. These do fit in here. What you want to do, you got your little channel here. You can see my finger even fits in. Tuck that in there. You don't have to go crazy, but just up and down. A little bit down the side, because these things will come down a couple inches here. So pretty much anywhere where that tape will be sticking, you want to wipe it. Just go back and forth. Just picks up, like I said, any dirt or anything, because you can tell by the side of this truck I have had it off-road a few times. So wipe it down. It'll get all the dust and grime out. Anything, maybe you had a bug or whatever might have got sucked up in there when you close the window. You can actually see, maybe that picked up on the camera, a big dust cloud came out when I pulled it up. That shows just how much is actually tucked up in there. So I'll clean this corner really well before we go on to the next step. Alright, and now the next step, get your little alcohol wipe out, and same kind of idea, just go in there. It does have room, you can see my finger fits in there. And just wipe through like that, and you can see just how much dirt is actually up in there. And this is pretty much a brand new truck. This is just over 3 months I've owned this thing. So get in there, make sure it's all cleaned out. Same thing, go up and down in the corners. It is just rubber, so you might have to push a little bit, but you can get your finger in there, because this is the last step before these things go on. And the cleaner you can get this thing, the better and longer lasting your tape will be. So you won't have to worry about these things falling off at some point, because it should be all stuck on there nicely. Alright, so now for the actual install itself, what I've done is I've taken off the 2 little end pieces. Then for the long one, just go, maybe a quarter of the way, fold it over like that. So then once you get this up in there, you can pull the rest of the tape off, but you don't have the sticky double-sided tape there trying to grab and hook on everything when you're getting this up and adjusting it in there. We'll start on the back window, and because this thing tucks in there, obviously it is slightly bigger than the window. So you want to put it on a bit of an angle. I found on the other side, getting the back in first was easier. And then just kind of tuck in halfway down the window, slide it upwards, get it all tucked up so it's tight against the top. You don't want to push too far up because then it'll get in the way when your window rolls up. So you want to just get it enough that you can't see that red tape in there anymore. And like if you notice there, you can kind of see the gray still. So just wiggle it, it'll go up. Then you can pull the rest of this out. It'll come off nice and easy. Just like so. Throw that away. And then you want to do this. Kind of go along and roll it because you want it to stick to the outside here. So just come in, roll it, push it upwards, let it bind properly everywhere. Come to the corner as well, give it a push. One thing you will notice with these in-channel ones is when you roll the window up and down, your window might sound like it's working a little harder just because this is taking up a little bit of the gap here now. So when the window rolls up, it kind of pushes this out just slightly. But what you don't want is a gap anywhere, because if you have a gap, when the window rolls up, it'll still go, but it's going to push this and knock every single time you roll up. So you do want to make sure, give it lots of pressure outwards and get it seated as best as you can towards the outside of the vehicle, and then you shouldn't have any issues when you're rolling up and down the window. All right, now moving on to the front, same idea. I pulled off the two little sides and just hang your red tape down on the big one. For this one, same idea too. I find putting the flat side in versus the round side is easier to get the other side in. So what I do, tuck that in, get it kind of up, semi in place. Come to this side, the big one has some flex to it, so you can flex it. Get that in there, let it find its seat, then work it up, make sure, oh, now I lied to you, the other side will pop out of course, but as long as it's in there, you can start working it up, and there you go. Once it's in, you can see, even without the tape, it does kind of hold itself there, but again, make sure it's up, but not too far up, because otherwise when your window closes, again, it'll come up and this will be in the way for your window. So you don't want any banging and clicking. I may have to adjust these. There's only one way to find out, unfortunately. But for now, pull this off again, throw the garbage away, and same as the back, you want to kind of roll it to make the glue or the tape stick to the rubber on this side. All right, so now that we've got them both on, you can do the window test. And this is a good example of what I mean where it might be too tight on one side. If when you roll this up, you can see it kind of hits and rolls it back into place. I don't know if you guys can see that. Kind of twists it. That's not the end of the world, but that's what I mean. If you take it outside now, roll the window up, this is being forced into place. Park it out, or heat it up if you got a blow dryer or something. Maybe you're doing this in the winter or you're somewhere cold. Heat it up when it's like this, let it sit for a bit, and then after, when you roll this window back down, it'll sit in place and it won't do that turn back in. So the next time you roll it up, you don't have to worry about it hitting like that. And same thing with the front here. If you look, you can get a close-up right here. This was what I mean where it's taking up the space. It should be stuck to the plastic. There's a little bit of play in there still. This is the plastic part, this is your visor. There's a little tiny bit of play, not much, but enough to make a difference. And then up top, it's not quite pushed up against the rubber as well. So again, when you roll the window up, it doesn't hit quite as bad as the back, but roll it up. Again, your window will hold it in place now. Heat it up, do whatever you got to do, go park outside, and it should be good as new. Alright guys, so here we are outside. Hopefully the wind and the traffic noise isn't too bad. You can see they are in there. They are fitting just perfect. Got your little AVS logo there. And it's a nice sunny warm day. These have actually been on for a couple days now, and they do recommend when you put them on, like I showed you, roll them into place, roll up your window up and down a couple times, make sure they're not snagging, and then once you get it where you're comfortable with it, close it up. And they recommend leaving your window closed for up to 24 hours. And like I said, if you can, we have a nice sunny warm day, roll your window up, park it outside, let the sun beat down on it, warm it up. It just lets the plastic and the glue kind of relax a little bit, and it'll find the sweet spot. Because now if we jump in, like you guys saw before, when we rolled up the window, this part kind of had a little bit of a gap and it wobbled and kind of hit it slightly. But now if we turn on the truck here and you roll down the window, you can see, turn the fan off, you can actually see that it doesn't wiggle and wobble anymore. Everything stays in place. It just holds it tight. And that is because the window rolled up. It pushes the window where it's got to go, obviously. And that in turn makes the plastic sit where it should be. And you don't have to worry about it wobbling and falling out and damaging your window in any way. Don't have to worry about it snagging on the corner like I showed you earlier, because it all just sits right in place where it should. And that goes for all four of them. You can see driver's side or passenger side as well. Doesn't hit anything. The window doesn't seem to have to work too much harder anymore. Originally when you rolled it up, because they weren't quite sitting flush, when it came up and started to hit where the plastic was, you could hear the motor trying to put a little more oomph into it to roll up. But now just a tiny bit at the top, but other than that, they all fit perfectly. Nothing wobbles and wiggles around, no noise, no banging, no cracking, and it fits just perfect. And now just one last little feature of these things is you can see it is slightly see-through. It is a tinted plastic. It is not a chunk of black plastic. I believe there are a couple other companies out there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the WeatherTech version of these are just a solid black plastic, where this is a smoked plastic. So you can see it's more of like a tinted glass rather than the whole black chunk. And reason I went with this one is because you can see through it. These windows, being a small truck, are already pretty tiny. And if you think if this was a solid black piece of plastic, you're just this big now, and the rest is all a blind spot. So that big piece would be a blind spot. You come over here, this huge piece would be a blind spot, and it would just look weird. It would be too close to the mirror, and it's not what I was looking for. I wanted something you could still kind of see through. It gives you a little bit of tint. You can roll down your window, and it would be about an inch, inch and a half maybe down. So if you're pouring rain, we are nice and sunny right now, but we do live in Vancouver, BC, up in Canada, and we get a lot of rain. So when it's hot like it is now and it decides to rain, it gets muggy and gross. So being able to roll down the windows and not have to worry about drowning the inside of your car is nice, and you get a little bit of that fresh air while you're driving around as well. And you can still see. You don't have a big black blob beside your head and big ass blind spot. So one of the reasons I went with these guys, and they are relatively cheap for what it is. Just a chunk of plastic, but they fit perfectly. No wobbles, no wiggles. I've had this thing down on the highway yesterday, and they don't vibrate or make any wind noise or anything like that. So all is good. So there you have it, guys. Another install complete. There is stuff coming for this truck, so stay tuned for that. If you want to pick up a set of these for yourself, I'll put the link down below and you can figure out which one you want. There are a couple different versions. Like I said, this specific one are the in channel, so anything that says in channel goes inside where the window rolls up, and the other basic ones will actually stick to the outside of your door. So if that's your thing, they do make both versions. You can go and pick it up, slap it on your truck. It takes like less than 5 minutes if you're not filming like I am. Super easy. Like I said, don't forget, put them on, get them where you want it, roll up your window, 24 hours. Even better is if you can park it outside in the nice hot sun like I am today. If you can, they'll fit better. If not, not the end of the world, but just make sure you leave your window rolled up and that'll force it into place. So if this video helped you out, leave us a thumbs up, subscribe. Hopefully we catch you guys in the next video. And if you want to see anything else with the truck, drop a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching, everybody.